This is from The Independent. Sunak has spoken out after the controversial invasion comment. I say controversial, but possibly, you might think otherwise. Leo.
yeah. Well, the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, came under fire for claiming there's an invasion by migrants on England's south coast. And Rishi Sunak has told his cabinet that the UK will always be a compassionate, welcoming country. I mean, it will for a bit until it becomes too much. I mean, there is a pretty crazy amount of cross-channel migration, like 1,000 a day. There's been 40,000 this year so far.
Yeah.
Only Calvin messaged me the other day and he said only 20,000 Albanians till Christmas.
I'm sure the monks of Lindisfarne were welcoming and
absolutely. The Anglo-Saxon invasion wasn't a military invasion in any sense.
It was a farming
migration.
invasion. It was a migration, just looking for a better quality of wife.
And what's happening here is, we've got huge issues. So we've got so many people coming across. It's costing the government £7 million a day to house them.
Almost exactly the same amount, funny enough, as the £2 billion hole that the Kwasi-Kwarteng budget created is now dedicated to housing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's a real significant amount of money. But a lot of them are not asylum seekers. They're apparently 2% of the adult male Albanian population has come across this year.
Exactly.
Albania's not a war.
Why can we not practically return people to Albania? I don't understand the process and why that's an important.
The Guardian and left-wing people will scream that that's racist against Albanians, and it's terrible.
I don't think it's that simple, is it? I don't know.
I grew up in St Albans, and I assume that is their natural home, that they're all sort of zeroing in back on St Albania.
Well, a lot of them have got cars waiting to pick them up, because amongst the people who are just coming to try and get jobs and work and stuff, there are criminal elements. There's a lot of Albanian gangs working in the drug trade in the UK. I mean, it's good news. You're going to have cheaper cocaine for Christmas, but bad news, in terms of violence and crime and possible other.
Well,
these
are part and parcel of life in a big city, isn't it?
Well, you can say that. I don't think we have to. We don't have to generate waves of crime.
And maybe
we could do something to stop it.
Parcel of living in Folkestone as well.
It's a bureaucratic failure. Above all else, though, isn't it? It's another bureaucratic failure.
Yeah, it is.
Failure to process. Yeah. And if the government can't effectively do things simply bureaucratically, then that's a profound failure of government.
Definitely, what is happening, I say definitely, but my strong sense is that the population are, to a greater or lesser extent, losing faith in the government's will to do it, their capacity to do it, even beginning to suspect that there may be a secret agenda and there's a reason why they're not doing it that's not being discussed, because it does not seem to actually be that complicated.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the left, they're not saying what they do to solve the issue, because it would be an intractable problem for Labour, a worse problem for Labour, because they wouldn't, it would be very unpopular with their followers to actually deal with it properly. So they focus on the language. They focus on Suella Braverman saying invasion, when really, I mean, it's not far off. Using that as a sort of word for a large volume of people coming to another country.
Number 10 have rowed back on that language.
Rowed back is also an offensive term.